This episode is sponsored by Petra Kolb. Hello and welcome back to Film Pro Productivity and Success, the podcast that helps film professionals and other creative people, all creative people really, to live a more focused, effective and happy life. My name is Carter Ferguson, I'm the host, and this is episode 86, Time Management with the Pomodoro Technique. Time is more valuable than money. You can get more money, but you can't get more time. Jim Rohn said that, and its truth is plain to see, but we struggle with timekeeping and deadlines and lost time, well, all the time. Today I'm going to be looking at a simple system of time blocking that could make all the difference to you if you are struggling to get stuff done. And it's also the technique that I've used to write all 7 episodes of this mini-season. Time management is the process of organising and planning how to divide your time between specific activities. Good time management enables you to work smarter, not harder, so that you can get more done in less time, even when time is tight and pressures are high. Quite often, in fact, it's interchangeable with the word productivity. Last week I looked at 10 ways in which we can sabotage our own efforts, and top of my list of self-sabotaging behaviours was that age-old chestnut, procrastination. It's also certainly the most commonly raised problem that I hear about from listeners. If I ever put anything out there on social media asking for what people are struggling with right now, which is a way I kind of farm ideas from social media, by far the most common response is procrastination. It's a topic I've covered before, and I suspect it's one that I will deal with again in the future. But this technique is a really excellent solution to it. Conversely, it can also cure the habit of overworking by imposing timed breaks and intervals. Today's episode covers what is perhaps the most famous of all anti-procrastination techniques. In fact, it's something I've mentioned in passing in previous episodes, but today I'm going to delve into this really quite simple but also very successful anti-procrastination method, the Pomodoro Technique. We all know that procrastination makes easy things hard and hard things harder, so any edge we can give ourselves when it comes to countering it has got to be a welcome one. The Pomodoro Technique is tried and tested, and to all intents and purposes is pretty much free. The system was developed by Francesco Cirillo in the late 1980s, but it has been widely popularised in recent years by dozens of apps and websites which now provide timers and instructions. I've mentioned it before whilst talking about an app on my desktop called Forest, incidentally. Forest is a fun app which plants a digital tree that slowly grows to a full height every time you complete a particular segment of allotted time. This might make more sense as I go on, but at the end of a week you will likely have a small wood of these digital trees growing there, and by the end of a year you will have a complete forest. So it's kind of like a little bit of a reward as you complete tasks. The extension to the Pomodoro Technique that this app offers is that kind of reward. In fact, a fully grown digital tree for each segment of allotted time that you've completed. Unlike some topics that I've covered on the show, I think that I can sum this one up quite succinctly. The concept is this: the Pomodoro Technique encourages people to work with the time that they have rather than against it. Using this method, you break your workday down into 25-minute chunks separated by 5-minute breaks. Each interval is known as a pomodoro, from the Italian word for tomato, and that's named after the tomato-shaped kitchen timer that Cirillo used to time his work segments as a university student. After about 3 or 4 pomodoros, you take a longer break of about 15 to 20 minutes. This trains your brain to focus for short periods and helps you stay on top of deadlines or constantly refilling inboxes. With time, it can even help improve your attention span and concentration. As the timer ticks along in the background, it quietly instills a sense of urgency as well. So rather than feeling like you have endless time in the workday to get things done and then ultimately squandering those precious work hours on distractions, you know that you only have 25 minutes to make as much progress on the task as possible. And the forced breaks will also help to cure that overwhelmed, burnt out feeling that most of us experience towards the end of the day, or sometimes well before that. Using this system, it's really impossible to spend hours in front of your computer without realizing it. If you've got that problem, that is, as the ticking timer reminds you to get up and take a breather. And the Pomodoro technique is a cyclical system. You work in short sprints, which makes sure you're constantly productive. You also get to take regular breaks that bolster your motivation and keep you creative. I use the short breaks quite often just to read another couple of pages of my book. It gives me a little break away from whatever I'm doing. But anyway, it's probably one of the simplest productivity methods that there is to implement. All you need is a timer, and beyond that, there are no special apps, books, or tools that are required, although plenty of them are out there. Cirillo's book, incidentally, The Pomodoro Technique, is a helpful read, but Cirillo himself doesn't hide the core method behind a purchase. If you want to trial this system, then all you need to do is get hold of a timer, and this could be a cooking timer, a stopwatch, an app like Forest or Pomodoro. There are loads of them out there. And I actually recommend pomofocus.io, pomofocus.io. It's a website on desktop, because if you can go into the settings of that one, you can set a ticking sound, which a lot of these don't actually offer. I like to have a faint ticking sound in the background, and it's totally free on desktop. There might actually be an app version of it. I didn't go looking for it. There's tons and tons of these apps, but not all of them will give you full control. Just go into your app stores and check them out. Just find the one that works for you, basically, and trial it. If it doesn't work, go and use another one. But remember that the focus of the Pomodoro technique is on the work, not on the timer that you use. If you'd like to get an actual tomato timer like Cirillo uses, there is one available as well on, it's not a lot, it's something like £6 on Amazon. Just look for tomato-shaped timer, and I'm sure you'll find it. So, I'm going to make this your call to action this week. Here's all you have to do. 1, choose a task that has to be accomplished. 2, set the Pomodoro to 25 minutes. 3, work on the task until the Pomodoro rings. Then put a check on a sheet of paper, or it'll digitally probably give you a timed break, because number 4 is take a short break, 5 minutes. These apps tend to give you 25 minutes and then they'll give you 5 minutes, and every 4 Pomodoros you take a longer break. Mine gives me a 15-minute break every 4 Pomodoros. That's how it works. Then all you need to do is repeat that process a few times over the course of a workday, and you actually will get a whole load of work accomplished. And take plenty of breaks to grab a cup of coffee, refill your water bottle, have a read, do whatever you need to do in the process. It's important too to note that a Pomodoro is an indivisible unit of work, and that means that if you're distracted partway by a telephone call, a co-worker, a meeting, or an emergency, that you either have to end the Pomodoro there, saving your work and starting a new one later, or you have to postpone the distraction until the Pomodoro is complete. If you do the latter, Cirillo suggests the inform, negotiate, and call back strategy. Inform the other party that you're working on something right now. Negotiate a time when you can get back to them about the distracting issue in a timely manner, and schedule that follow-up immediately. Then call back the other party when your Pomodoro is complete and you're ready to tackle their issue. Of course, not every distraction is that simple, and some things do demand immediate attention, but not every distraction does. So that is the Pomodoro technique. Use it as your call to action. Give it a go. Honestly, just give it a go. It's literally free, and it certainly worked on the podcast. I mentioned it, I think, in episode 1 of this season, or episode 84, I think it was, Headspace, that I've used it to create all 7 episodes, and I got these episodes done significantly quicker. I'm talking about prep and writing of them significantly quicker because I was using this technique. So it's well worth a go. On next week's show, though, I'm going to talk a little bit about clout chasers and social media. If you don't know what a clout chaser is, then tune in to find out more. But let me finish today with a quote about this topic from Charles Buxton, who said, "You will never find time for anything. If you want time, you must make it." Jim Rohn also said something significant on today's subject. He said, "Either you run the day or the day runs you." Now take control of your own destiny and of your own time. Keep on shooting and join me next time on Film Pro Productivity and Success. The music that you can hear right now is Adventures by Himitsu, and you can view the show notes for this episode on the official website. It's actually a full transcript there on filmproproductivity.com. You can also follow my personal accounts on Twitter and Instagram at fight_director, or follow the show on Twitter at FilmProProdPod, or on Facebook at FilmProProductivity. Please help out by supporting the show and subscribing, spreading the word especially, and leaving an awesome review. See you next time.